natin mag-sounds. Okay, so good afternoon. So our topic for today is all about linear regression equation and person correlation coefficient. Can you look at your screen, please? Okay, I will enlarge, no? Now, this is correct spelling because this is the surname of the person. Okay, person. Okay, may peer, may A. Okay. Now, when we're talking about linear regression equations, what's the purpose of this? Okay, the second question is that bakit kasama palagi yung coefficient, sir? Okay, yung correlation coefficient. May partner talaga sila palagi, class, no? You will know later why. Okay? So let us discuss first linear regression equation. Linear regression equation has this general formula. You can look at your screen. I think this is very similar to one of your topic in your high school. We're talking about slope of the line. Can you still remember? I think your teacher in high school used different variable. Instead of B, this is M. Okay, which means slope the line. I don't know what's the other variable for this, no? Maybe A or B. Okay, I think it's B, no? In your high school, itong A sa atin today is B sa inyong high school. It means to say that B is your y-intercept. Okay, so can you look at the screen? When you're talking about B, we're referring to slope. Okay, we're talking about A under our reference by Ronald Walpole. Okay, we're talking about y-intercept. Now, what's the purpose of linear regression equation? Okay, the primary purpose of linear regression equation is for prediction or forecasting. But be careful when you're using this equation. Okay? You must first establish that there is a strong relationship between variables. When we're talking about variables, I'm talking about the y variable, in this case, y hat. Okay? H-U-T, yung hat, the by kubo, no? Just read as y hat. And your x. Okay? There are two variables. You should establish that yung relationship ng dalawa is strong. If not, hindi reliable siya in using for prediction or forecasting. Okay? So, ano ba yung dalawang variables, sir? You can look at your screen. Kapag we're talking about the variable y, we're talking about dependent variable. Okay? If we're talking about x, we're talking about independent variable. Okay? Now, for you to not to be confused, no, between these two, kasi dapat kayo yung decide kung yung variable ba na napili nyo should be a dependent variable, automatically should be y, no? If that variable is independent, automatically should be x. Okay? Bakit, sir? Kasi we need to use the formula. Okay? Nakalagay talaga dyan is summation of xy, okay, x squared, yung isa pa yung nasa r or correlation coefficient. So, kapag pinag-rumble natin ito, mag-iba yung ating conclusion. Okay, so please be careful, no? Now, para hindi tayo malito, okay, when we're talking about dependent variable or y, you always think of result or effect. Okay? Result or effect. If we're talking about independent variable, just think of cause. Okay? Now, can you cite an example of two variables? Okay? Dapat yung ating first na perception is that these two variables should be related, no? Dapat yung ating isipin. Can you give me one or two variables na palagay natin they're related? Anybody from the class? Two variables na related. I'll give you one example, no? Okay, here, you can look at the screen, no? Temperature and you melted na wax, no? They are related. If you will increase the temperature in degrees Celsius, maybe, no, degree Fahrenheit sa ibang bansa, no, that will melt the wax, correct? Kapag in-increase pa natin lalo, mas nag-melt yung wax. So in short, these two variables are, kumbaga, assume they have relationship. Okay? So, who can give us another example? Dalawang variables na palagay natin na meron silang connection sa isa't isa or related. Anybody? Hindi pa naka-recite class, I'm giving you a chance, no? Hindi pa ako nakabigay ng grado sa inyo. Hindi ko pa pala na-finalize. Walang gustong mag-try. Civil engineering students, think of two variables na palagay natin na related sila sa isa't isa. Wala? Yes, John, Jeric. Very good. May nag-ano.
Ano po, sir? Playing mobile games and grades po, sir.
Okay. Playing. So you agree that meron talagang epekto yung playing ng mobile games sa grado ng estudyante. You agree?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So very good, no? You agreed. How about the others? Kasi sabi ng ibang estudyante ko, sir, time management lang naman yan, sir. Hindi naman naka-apekto yan, sir. That's their argument with us, no? So John Jeric agrees that talaga may epekto yung paglaro daw ng online games sa grado ng estudyante. Do you agree, Allen? Allen Felicia? You have play doon ni Allen?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, you agree. Okay. Very good. Nag-agree kayo. Di naman ako magagalit, class. That's your opinion, eh. Okay, so assuming there is a relationship between the play of online games, sige, pangalanan natin yung online games. You're talking about Mobile Legends, you're talking about Dota, ano pa ba? Ano pa bang uso ngayon? Jan, you are playing online games, Jan? Jan Jeric? Nag-play ka wala?
Hindi na po, sir.
Hindi na. Last na sinabi ng estudyante ko yun yung sa IE. Kasi wala na, I stopped already playing Dota. Pero ngayon, nag-graduate na siya. Naglabas na yung post yan about the paglaro ng Dota. Okay, so I hope that you really, kumbaga, controlled, no? Yung paglaro nyo ng online games. Not only online games, no? For example, you are fan of watching telenovelas, Korean novelas. That's also similar with playing, okay, online games. Why, sir? When you're addicted to it, okay, yung to the point that hindi mo na, kumbaga, ano na ba, napabayaan mo na yung mga assignment requirements mo, manood ka na lang ng Korean novela, okay? It's the same with I'm using the term addiction, class, ha? Okay, so very good. Some of you agreed that na may kinalaman talaga yung number of hours played in online games doon sa grado ng estudyante. Okay, so ano pa ba? So for example, ito daw, no? Now, actually, okay, class, if your teacher in high school said that meron talagang epekto yung paglalaro ng online games doon sa grado nyo, without proof, okay, wala siyang pruweba, he or she cannot say that. Okay? Kailangan niya munang i-prove na meron siyang relationship, saka siya mag-conclude. Okay, I use the word conclude, because I told you a while ago, starting today, we will conclude. Okay? This is inferential statistics, no? Okay, I hope I am understood, class. Okay, so we later, again, we will have the conclusion, no? So sabi ko nga, without the proof, hindi dapat siya mag-jump into the conclusion ba na you stop the playing the Dota. Okay? It will affect your grado. Yes, kaso lang, class, okay? Sa problema ng estudyante ever since itong online games, we already have the proof. Okay? May record na ito dun sa administrators natin. Okay? They already conduct the study. They already established that there's really a strong relationship between the playing of Dota dun sa grado ng estudyante. Kaya malakas yung loob nila that okay, to say that eh. Okay, now example, do you have any question, class, before we will start with this? Wala naman. Okay, isa pa, no? For example, okay, can you give me one example? Another one example na may relationship yung dalawang variables para mas malinaw sa atin yung yung dependent variable at independent variable. John Jerry, can I go back with you? Dito sa example mo na playing of online games at saka yung grado, sa palagay mo saan dito yung cost, saan dito yung effect?
Yung effect po, sir, is yung sa grades po, then yung cost is yung hours ng online games po.
Okay, so very good, no? So in short, automatically, kapag sinabi nating effect, okay, y, or that's dependent variable. Kaya hindi ako maglagay sa problem nyo, class, na asan dito yung x, saan yung y doon. Dapat alam nyo agad, no? You need to analyze. Okay? Pag Y, isipin ka agad effect. Okay? Result. Kapag X, ito yung cause. Okay? So, pagdating nyo sa fourth year, okay, gamit ang linear regression equation correlation sa inyong thesis. No? Kasi you need to prove, for example, your thesis is all about experimental ba, no? That you want to know kung anong epekto ng paglagay ng isang aggregates doon sa mixture or sa semento or sa concrete, no? You want to introduce another alternative doon sa pebbles, doon sa mga debris, or we're talking about aggregates, yung mga bato-bato, no? So you want to know kung meron ba talang epekto. So you measure that in maybe in grams. Then the result can be measured in laboratory, okay? PSI. Okay? So ano ba talang epekto ng pag-introduce ng aggregates, different aggregates doon sa concrete. Okay? So gamit siya sa thesis actually. That is why meron kayong MAT 200. Okay? Now, isa pa sa input dito natin, class, when you're using this concept regarding linear regression equation, dapat quantifiable. Okay? When we're talking about quantifiable, dapat measure mo siya in numbers. Kapag qualitative or qualitative, ang problema kasi is, ang hirap i-measure ng description. Okay? So dapat, kung ganun siya, wala talagang other way, kapag yung ganun yung thesis nyo, qualitative, then you need to assign numbers. Dito napapasok yung Likert scale. Yung scale from 1 to 5, you assign numbers. Okay? Para magamit mo itong concept ng linear regression equation. Okay? Now, example, this is the data, no? So, one administrator of the school, okay, gathered this information from his students, okay, 5 students. Okay? He asked one student, ilang hours ka naglalaro ng Dota? Sabi niya, 10 kada araw, ma'am. Sir, pala kayo, naghiman ako, no? 10 oras kada araw, sir. Tiningnan mo yung grado ng estudyante, 65. Nirecord niya. Okay? Another student, he asked, mga ilang oras ka naglalaro isang araw ng Dota or ML? 12 hours, sir. Tiningnan yung grado niya, 60. Hanggang nag-gather siya ng ilang estudyante, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now, the question here, class, okay, under data analysis, no? Okay. Reliable ba yung 5 estudyante na? Bakit 5 lang? That's the question eh. So dito napapasok dapat yung sampling. Okay? Anyway, we have naman the software to compute the sample size, class eh. So don't worry, no? Pagdating nyo doon sa inyong fourth year, okay? Usually kapag hypothesis testing tayo, t-test 30, okay? Okay na yan 30. It should be random yung pagpili niya. Okay? Kapag t-test tayo. Kapag other tests, nag-require siya ng mas malaki, 100, minsan 400 students, no? Kasi this is bias ba? Bakit 5 lang? Will that conclude yung lahat naglalaro ng Dota? Yun ang question natin dito, class, di ba? The same also, itong mga full survey na ito, di ba napansin nyo? Tinatanong sino yung boboto mong presidente. Nandun ang results, no? For example, 90% nandun sa isang kandidato, 5% na isang kandidato. Pero ang tinanong niya is ilang tao lang. Do you know ilan? Plus, kung nanonood kayo ng TV, or yung news, I mean, kahit walang TV, anyway, accessible naman siya sa social media eh. May ilang tao kaya? No idea? Okay, wala. Okay, ang pagka-remember ko nasa between, okay, sa naglalaro lang sa 2,000 voters. Ilan ang botante ng Philippines? Ilang million. So, is that enough to conclude yung 2,000 na yan? Na ito talaga yung opinion ng karamihan sa Pilipino? Okay? Yun yung question doon, class. If you will ask me, okay, meron siyang scientific basis. It's science, it's statistics. So maniniwala ako doon sa proseso. It's a process. But in gathering the data, I'm talking about respondents, class, no? Doon nagkakaroon ng bias eh. Okay? So pwedeng magkaroon doon ng abuse ng statistics. Tama ba? For example, kayo nag-gather ng data, no? Yung sa 2,000 na yun, paano mo pinili yung 2,000 voters na yun? Baka pumunta ka doon sa lugar ng isang botante, doon mo nilagay lahat ng 1,000, talagang pabor ka rin doon sa kandidato, no? So those are the things that you need to consider in kumbaga conducting the research. It should not be biased. Okay? Dapat random mo siya. The keyword is random. So the same thing also here. Let us just assume that it's randomized, no? Kumbaga, baka kasi pinili niya yung example, administrator, pinili niya yung grabe naman maglaro, no? May 10 oras talaga kada araw. I think that's bias, no? Sa lahat ng players ng Dota. Dapat naka-random siya. Okay? So ito yung data na nakuha niya. So the first question here, okay? Meron bang kinalaman yung dalawang variable? Okay? And that's actually answered by your R. Insert ko na lang dito, class, ha? When we're talking about R, ako pwede insert. Okay, R is correlation coefficient. But I will use the person correlation coefficient. So in short, marami siyang formula sa correlation coefficient class. Isa lang si person. Again, person is the name of the person, no? Okay, may ano yan, iba yung kanyang spelling. Okay? R is the correlation coefficient. And R means it measures how strong the relationship between two or more variables. Okay, sa klase nyo class, I will just focus on two variables. So talking about one independent variable and one dependent variable. Kasi may tinatawag tayo na multi-regression equation, no? Always, palagi, not palagi naman, most of the time, isa lang talaga yung y natin. Okay, mahirap kasi yun, marami tayong y, no? Ang x, pwedeng marami. Okay, I'm not talking about your x's, ha? Okay, it measures how strong the relationship between two or more variables, okay? Now, the highest number that you can get in R is positive or negative 1. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kapag positive 1 siya, perfect correlation. Okay? Kapag negative 1 siya, perfect correlation pa rin, pero negative. The sign na just for negative, okay, means, okay, yung positive at saka yung negative, or negative, means direct proportion ba? Kung tataas yung isa, tataas yung isang variable? Or is it reverse? Okay? Relationship. Okay? Yan lang ang meaning ng negative at saka positive class. Kasi usually ang pag negative kasi is utang, di ba? Yung kulang, no? But here in correlation, the meaning of positive and negative, kapag positive siya, direct proportion. Ibig sabihin, kung tataas ang isang variable, tataas din yung isa, no? Kapag reverse siya, tataas ang isang variable, then yung isa is bababa, no? Yan ang meaning ng negative at saka positive. Okay, so let's start na. First, you're asked to plot the scatter diagram. Okay, second, you are asked to solve for y hat, or y. And C, you're asked to solve and interpret for R. Okay, can you look at the screen, please? Now, here are the given. Okay, how to plot the scatter diagram. Okay, first, okay, you create this graph. Okay, this is your x-axis. You do this manual class. Sa manual nyo ito gawin. You practice, please. Okay, you draw your x and y-axis. Now, you decide for the interval. How to decide for the interval? For example, this is x, no? You go to the values of x. What's the highest? Is 12. The lowest is 1. So, kayo na bahala mag-estimate na hindi masyado mahaba yung inyong x. Okay? Or maikli masyado, no? I think it's appropriate to use interval of 2 para maabot ko yung pinaka-last, which is 12, na hindi masyado mahaba yung x natin dito. Okay? Actually, excess na itong 14 dito, no? So, covered pa rin yung pinaka-lowest, which is 1, nasa gitna nito. So, ganyan mag-decide ng ating graph. Now, for your y axis, okay, the same pa rin yung ating basihan. Yung lowest is 30, highest is 90. Okay? So, decide tayo ng interval na makover itong lowest at saka yung highest. Actually, po pwede 5, no? Pero medyo mataas yan, no? Dito, I decided to, actually, nag-decide dito yung Excel, no? Decided to use the interval of 10. Okay? So, maabot niya pa rin yung pinaka-lowest is 30 at saka yung highest is 90. Okay. After that, i-blanco pa ito. Let us plot the scatter diagram. Now, how to plot the scatter diagram? You always imagine that each pair is your ordered pair. Okay? Ordered pairs. So, in short, okay, ordered pairs. For student 1, 10. Okay. Open parenthesis 10. You don't need to do this. I just want to explain, class, paano siya i-plot. 65. Remember this in your high school? Paano siya i-plot? And followed by 12 and 60. Okay. Hanggang matapos natin, yung pinaka-last is 4 at saka 85. Okay? So those are your ordered pairs na yung 5. Now, somebody asked me before, sir, do we need to rearrange this from lowest to highest? No, you don't need to. Kumbaga, bawal siya to arrange this in increasing order. Why? I told you a while ago, what's the meaning of this, no? You ask one student, okay, ilang oras ka naglaro ng Dota? 10. Tinignan mong grado 65. Kapag disarrange mo ito, it means to say, kung ano yung actual in reality, you alter, you manipulate, no? So, bawal yun, okay? Kung ano yung actual as is, no? Then you plot immediately. I hope that is understood, class, ha? Kasi ang ginagawa ng estudyante, nabuot-buot ng estudyante, class, arrange niya from the lowest to the highest. Okay? You don't need to do that, ha? Bawal, okay? Because you will alter kung ano yung realidad, no? So, after alam mo na yung ordered pairs, then this is the time that you need to plot, no? First ordered pair, okay? 10 at saka 65. You locate yung 10, it's here. Then 65, okay, in between 70 at saka 60, ayan siya. Okay? Pwede ulitin ko nilang para sa klaro, no? Ayan, it's the first. Okay, be patient, no? Wag natin unahin ito, no? Kung anong nakalagay doon, okay? Yun ang unahin. Okay, next, 12 at saka 60. Okay, 12 is somewhere here, and 60 dito. Ayan, no? Intersection niya ito. Okay, klaro, ha? That's the second point. The third ordered pair is 12 and 30. 12 and 30. Dito yung x natin, 12, then 30. Yan, intersection ito. Okay. Next, 1 and 90. Okay, nasa gitna. Tapos ito dito. Okay. That's the fourth. And last, we have 4 and 85. Okay. 4 yung x natin. Then 85 in between 80 at saka 90. There. Okay. Ganyan lang kasimple maggawa ng scatter diagram. Okay. Wag tayong magbuot-buot that you arrange that from the lowest to the highest because you will alter what's in the reality, no? Now, after that, you're asked to solve for the y hat. So, wala pa itong lines dito, no? So, let us solve for the y hat. Ito yung medyo mahabang proseso. Because in solving your y hat, okay, this is the general form, the y plus bx. You need to solve for b, then you solve for a. Okay? Let's do that, no? Ito, nilagay ko dito yung formula ng b. Okay, look at the formula. Meron siyang summation of xy. So, we need the value of x times y. We need to add all the x. You add all the y. You need to square each of the data. Okay, or datum, I mean. Kaya meron tayo dapat x squared, no? Then ito na, inulit na dito. Okay? Now, for your b, you need the summation of y. Okay, the same dito. Summation of x, okay, the same dito. Okay? So, yun yung dapat natin i-consider, no? Summation of xy, summation of x, summation of y, summation of x squared. Okay, but I will insert y squared. Bakit may y squared yan, sir? Wala man dito. Can you see the y squared? Okay, wala, no? But, under the correlation kasi class, okay, can you look at the formula for the correlation? Meron siyang y squared. Okay? In-advance ko na lang siya. Okay? Kasi, tingnan natin yung required, you're asked to solve for R. Kaya, meron tayo ditong y squared. Okay? Let us focus on this. Okay, from this original data, or table I mean, can you look at the screen? Ito yung original natin. Ito. Okay. Let us rewrite that. Rewrite natin. Okay, nandito, no? Now, x and y, you need to analyze. No? Saan dapat yung x, dapat yung y dyan? Ito na yun, no? We need to get x squared. So, 10 squared will give you 100, 12 squared will give you 144, and so on and so forth. Dapat matapos natin lahat, no? We need also to get y squared, no? For your R, or coefficient, correlation coefficient. 65 squared, okay, 4,225. 60 squared, 3,600. Hanggang matapos natin yung 5. Okay? Again, please use your calculator. Because your exam is, your strictly, or quiz dapat calculator. I should see this table. Okay, handwritten. Now next, the last column, okay, you need to solve for the product of x and y. So 10 times 65, 650. 12 times 60, 720. 12 times 30, 360. Hanggang matapos mo yung 5. Okay? Now, at the bottom of your table, kasi nakalagay kasi sa formula, summation. So you need to add, no? So, in short, this summation here, summation of x. Okay, you add all. Okay, kasi kailangan natin summation of x dito. Okay, you add this second column and the summation of y. Kailangan natin summation of y dito. And so on and so forth, class, no? Kindly analyze this. Okay, so after that, meron na itong answer dito. Pwede mo na siyang i-substitute dito sa formula. Now, your n is equal to 5. Why 5, sir? Because there are 5 students, no, involved in the survey. Okay? In short, there are 5 pairs, okay, ng XY. So, just substitute, okay, sa formula. Ito yung formula. I-reduce ko na lang yung ano. Okay? N, 5. Okay, XY, summation of XY, 2,160. Okay? Minus, summation of X, 39. Okay? Summation of Y, 30. Okay? Divided by 5. Okay? N is equal to 5. Summation of X squared, ito, 41405. Minus, okay? Minus, summation of X, then you square, no? 39 squared. Okay, using your calculator, the answer should be negative 4.1071. Okay, let us agree on this, class, no? Kapag hindi pa final answer, kindly enumerate at least 4. Okay? 4 decimal points. Now next, to solve for your A or your intercept, ito yung formula. Summation of Y should be 330. Ito is 330 dito. Summation of the summation minus, no, B. Ito na yung B natin. Negative 4.1071 times summation of X, 39. Kaya 39 dito. Divided by 5. Okay? So the answer though using your calculator is 98.0354. Okay? So after that, since you're asked for the linear regression equation or y hat, just write the answer here. Kaya may star dito. That is the answer for letter D. It's an equation. Okay? I hope naiintindihan, class, no? Now, the next required here, you're asked to, okay, nakalimutan ko, no? Plot. Okay? Plot y hat on letter A. Okay, I'm talking about the required in letter A, ha? Not to plot in A. Okay, literal nyo. Okay? Or y hat on letter A or the scatter diagram, no? Letter A or on the scatter diagram na lang. You don't need to rewrite the graph. You plot immediately. Again, you don't need to make another scatter diagram. Just plot immediately. Okay, how to plot? If you can still remember during your high school class, no? Especially sa linear equation, diba, you assume values, correct? For example, x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2. Okay, you just substitute. Then you can able to make a graph. Okay? If you can still remember your linear equation during high school. The same ang gagawin natin dito. Okay? Kaya lang, okay, hindi tayo magpagusto kung ano yung ating call this one, i-assume na value sa x. I suggest, okay, when you assume value for x, okay, tingin tayo dun sa given. Sa given natin sa x, pinaka-lowest 1. Kaya you assume 1. Okay? The next is you assume yung highest sa x, in this case 12. No? And please assume yung second na x is 12, which is the highest doon sa given. Okay, let's do that. No? To plot y hat, okay, ang gagawin ninyo is that you assume two values. Assume two values. Okay? Actually, wala siyang dapat, wala siyang restriction. Kaya lang, for me, it's convenient for me to use yung pinaka-lowest dun sa given, sa x, at saka yung pinaka-highest. No? So, x sub 1 and x sub 2 tayo. Okay. After that, okay, gawin kong subscript. Okay, again, assuming okay, you go back with your given, lowest given is 1, then highest given is 12. Okay? Ayan, no? Lagyan ko na lang ito ng class, ng note dito. Lowest in the given. And 12 is highest in the given. Okay? Now, do not use what is given on the table, no? Kasi sabi mo, sir, we will use x sub 1, 1, then 2. Di ba given naman siya ng pag 1 dito, 90? Di ba? Kapag 12, it's either 30 or 60. Why not use those values? Hindi doon yun po pwede, class, ha? Ang gagawin ninyo, you use this equation, okay, okay, then solve for your y sub 1, y sub 2. Okay? So, let us solve for y sub 1 and y sub 2. Okay? Let's substitute yung ating assume value. Okay, buddy, what's the value for y sub 1? Let's substitute x is equal to 1. Can you use your calculator, please? Ellen, nandyan ka pa? Tulog na kayo? Medyo mahaba talaga itong ating lesson class. Sino pa nandyan? Kaya solve for y sub 1. Just substitute the value of x sub 1, 1 dito sa equation natin. What's the answer? Anybody? Nawala ang net ko. Gaulan magod class. Na lang.
93 po, sir. Okay. 0.93.
93.93. Okay. Very good. May nagsalita. Okay, sino yan? Si 93.93. Or roughly, okay? Kasi mahirap mahirap siya i-plot ang 93.93. Okay? O nga, Mark. Pati dito, Mark. Or 94. Okay, balikan nyo lang yung video kasi. Okay, so, if your x sub 2 is 12, what should be the value using the equation? Anybody, please? If x sub 2 is equal to 12, the value of y sub 2 is equal to, okay, very good, Zenny. That's 48.75. Mahirap i-plot ang 0.75 or just roughly, okay, that's 49. Okay? Okay? We're doing this kind of, class ha? Disclaimer ko lang ha. We are doing this kind of rounding off because we are graphing, no? But kapag hindi naman tayo nag-graph, okay, dapat ng answer natin 93.93. Okay? Kapag hindi nag-graph, dapat answer natin 48.75. So after that, meron na tayong bagong ordered pair dito, no? Medyo napalakas yung boses ko kasi medyo mag-aulan na talaga dito, ha? Okay, 1 at saka 94. That's your first ordered pair. And 12 and 49. Okay? So, ipa-plot natin itong 1 at saka 94 at saka 12 at saka 49. No? Remember, wala pa itong line niya ito. No? So, plot natin. 1 at saka 94. 1 nasa gitna nito. 94. Okay, nasobrahan lang siguro. 94 talaga siya, no? Medyo, kung 90 between ito, dapat nasa gitna siya. Kasi 95 ito eh. Tama ba 95? 94? Medyo ano siya, 1. Okay? Parang tama naman, no? Ano lang siguro ito. I-check natin later sa Excel, no? Sobrang lang siguro itong bilog ko dito. Okay, if this is correct, okay, 94. Okay, ang ko ako mag-ano nito, it's nasa gitna ng 90 tsaka 100, 95. So 94 nasa ilalim. Napunta na mo siya halos 90 class, no? Ay, wait lang. Sorry. Okay, I'm looking at this point. Okay, hindi pala yan. Okay, ito yon, no? So, i-locate natin. I will use this diamond. So, use blue. Okay. In between 90 at saka 195, no? So, dito siya. Tama ito. Ako yung mali kanina. Ayan. Okay, that's the first point, no? Then the second point is 12 at saka 49. Okay, so let us plot that. 12 at saka 49. Okay, nandito yung 12. Ang 49 nasa ibaba ng 50. Okay, I will use again this diamond. Ayan. Okay. Wala pang line ito, no? Then after that, okay, dalawa ka ng points, then that's the time that you connect the 2 points. Okay, nag-connect itong dalawa na ito. Okay? Klaro ha? This is how to plot your y hat, no? Mag-assume ka ng dalawang value sa x, then you solve for the ordered pair. All you need to do para magkaroon ka isang line, dalawang ordered pair lang naman kailangan ninyo, no? So that is why dalawa lang in-assume natin na value. So after you plot these 2 points, you connect, no? Itong dalawang points lang yung i-connect natin, class, ha? And after that, please label this as your y hat. Now, okay, unahan ko na yung mga estudyante na pasaway. Okay? Ang ginagawa ng ibang estudyante, pagtapos nila plot, ginawa nila ganito. Ipang-connect nila ito. Ayan. Yan na daw yung kanyang yan na daw yung kanilang plotting daw sa linear regression equation, which is wrong, no? We are not connecting dots here. Okay? I hope that is very clear, class, ha? Unahan ko ng mga estudyante na pasaway, kay ipang-connect nila ang dots. Mali, gida yun. If this is over 20, bigyan ko ni siguro ng 10, over 20. Kalahati. Okay, so we're done with this required number, letter D, no? For letter C, all you need to do is to use this formula. Okay, look at the formula, class. I will magnify. Okay, sa R tayo. R, no? So, ang R natin, okay, ito yung formula. As you can see, yung numerator dito, the same lang naman sa numerator ng B. All you need to do, okay, just copy. Okay, as you can see, pareho lang yung numerator ng B at saka yung itong R. Yung denominator ng R, yung part dito niya is the same with also with B. Ipansin niyo, pareho lang, no? Okay, doon na sa formula, pareho lang ito tsaka dito. Okay, they're the same, no? Ito lang nadagdag. Okay? So, all you need to do is to copy yung denominator ng B doon sa part ng, okay, parte lang ng denominator ng R, which is this one, no? Then, introduce yung bago. Itong bago is N, okay, 5, summation of Y squared. That is why pina-advance ko na yung Y squared, no? 24,050. That is why 24,050 minus summation of Y, which is 330. Then you square, okay? Then, close parenthesis. Use your calculator. Para hindi kayo malito sa calculator class, okay, I suggest to please, no? Gawin nyo siya ng portion by portion ba? Okay? Sulat nyo sa paper nyo siguro yung numerator. Okay? Sulat nyo sa paper nyo yung part ng denominator, yung part ng another part ng denominator, you multiply. Then after you multiply, you get the square root kasi may square root to dito. Then after that, you get the quotient. Okay? Ito yung mali ng estudyante minsan ba? Na hindi nila na square root. Now, reminder that the value of your R should not exceed positive 1 or negative 1. Now, kapag yung answer niyo dito, nagkamali kayo sa gamit ng calculator, okay, nagsobra kayo ng 1, negative or positive, mali na kagad yun. Okay? I hope that's very clear, no? Then after that, since you're required to interpret, okay, and dito interpretation natin sa ibaba. Don't worry, you don't need to memorize this, no? Lalagay ko to sa exam or sa quiz niyo. Anyway, yung quiz niyo is open notebook naman, no? Just interpret, no? Based on this table of interpretation, 0.87, negative 0.87 belong to this range, yun dito. Interpretation is high negative correlation. Remove the positive kasi negative naman siya eh. Okay, high negative correlation. So, ibig sabihin, okay, yung relationship ng paglalaro ng Dota at saka yung grado ng estudyante, meron talagang, kumbaga, in short, na epekto siya. That's our conclusion eh. Now, may isa pang way to mas ma-analyze natin yung data, no? And that is to get the squared of your correlation. Okay? Helen, nandiyan ka pa, Helen? Kung sino pa Zen, kindly get the square root, the squared 0.87 raised to the power 2, please. Again, negative 0.87 raised to the power 2, please.
0.7569, sir.
7569. Okay. Or this is 75.69%. What do you mean by this? No? This is in-depth analysis of your data. So, ibig sabihin, okay, 75.69% changes on the result is associated. I will use the word associated because we're talking about relationship in your y or in your x, no? Independent variable. We're talking about, I will not use na general term. Okay, gamitin ko na lang yung ginamit natin sa problem, no? Changes on the grado, on the grades. Changes by 4%. Okay, is dapat kasi a percentage to, no? Okay, is correct niya. Kaya nakalimutan ko sa mga verb agreement. This is percentage, right? Dapat is associated in playing online games. Okay? That's the meaning of pag-square natin yung ating correlation. Okay? So I hope that's very clear. Okay, time check 3.23. Okay, hindi naman kailangan na magkaroon kayo ng ganito class, no? Yung R squared nyo. Dito na okay na ako dito sa interpretation. Okay, so in short, okay, kapag 1 ito, okay, send ko muna class sa inyo. Okay, wala tayong LMS ngayon. May ano ako mag-reply sa mga classmates niyo. Later na ako mag-reply. I know, malakas talagang ulan pa dito. Medyo humingi ng ulan sa malakas. No? Puro palakas ako eh. Wala tayong magawa dyan. Balikan nyo na lang video. Okay, so we're done with the manual method. Now, the Excel is intended for checking purpose only class. Ha? Okay, please do not use Excel kapag sa exam siya sa quiz. Okay, how to use the Excel. So, ang kailangan nyo sa Excel is the problem here. Okay, yung table. We'll open the Excel. Okay. And this is for checking purpose only. 10, 12, 12, 1, 4. Okay, 65, 60, 30, 90, and 85. Okay? Enlarge natin ng konti. Label natin, para hindi tayo malito later. 5. Now, in using the Excel, all you need to do is to highlight what is given. Okay, by clicking your left button of the mouse, you hold, and you just drag the cursor, your mouse. No? Okay, just go to the first datum. You click the left button of the mouse, and you highlight all. Then you go to the insert, okay, scatter. Okay, scatter. Click that. Okay, piliin nyo ito. There. Okay, ayaw ko nito. Tanggalin ko ito. Actually, you can adjust this by clicking this one. No? Then just right click. Nandito yung pag-adjust ng inyong axis. No? Dito. The y-axis. Okay, yan. This format. No? Gusto nyo iba yung interval, you just need to explore. Now, in plotting your linear regression equation sa Excel, just click any points. No? Right button, just click any points again. Okay, right button, any points. Okay, then you click this add trend line. Then you check this box, display equation on the chart. Okay, display equation on the chart. Okay, click, close. Automatically, ito na kaagad yung answer doon sa required doon sa A at saka B. Now, this is called commutative property of multiplication na pwede mo siyang balik-balik na rin. Okay? Kaya nauna dito sa Excel itong may X. Okay? Doon sa ating manual, nahuli si X, no? Pareho lang yung klasa. So, ito na yung sagot sa A at B. Now, for your R, for the correlation, okay, you make a formula, any cell, press equal, then you type correl, magsasuggest siya ng correl, you just click this suggestion of correl. The instruction here is you must highlight array 1, array 2, then comma din array 2. Hindi yan sinabi mauna si X, hindi mo sinasabi mauna si Y, no? Kahit saan dyan po pwede, pareho lang yung answer. So I want X yung mauna, okay, go to the first datum, by clicking the left button of your mouse, you hold, then you drag pababa. Okay? I'm done with the highlight ng array 1, then comma, then go to the array 2, go to the first datum, click the left bottom of your mouse, then you drag that pababa. Okay? Remember, our answer kanina is negative 0.87, if you can still remember, no? Is it negative 0.87? Okay, enter. Okay, that is negative 0.87. Okay, pag ni-run off natin. Okay, that's very clear, ha? Now, I will make a sort of table na perfect yung correlation, no? Example, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then yung y, 10, then 15, then 20, 25, 30. Okay? Can you look at the screen, class, no? If you will study this, analyze the table, it's very clear that there is a relationship between two variables. Okay? If you will increase 1 unit sa x, y will increase 5 units, correct? Can you look at the screen, please? Okay? And every 1 increment in x, mag-i-increase ang y ng 5. Okay? So, meron talaga siyang relasyon, no? So, doon pa lang makikita mo na yung parang trend. If you will put here 8, I'm sure your answer should be 35, correct? You can able to predict, in short, no? By just looking at the trend. Okay? But we want to prove that the linear regression equation is for prediction. Okay? So let us check, no, kung tama yung kanyang claim that linear regression equation is for prediction or forecasting. Now, ang gagawin natin dito, we will highlight first to get the linear regression equation, no? May isa pa kasing way, class, which is medyo mahaba yun. We solve for A, then B, then you write the linear regression equation, no? So, ito yung pinaka-shortcut sa akin. Okay? Now, ito yung scatter diagram kapag perfect correlation. Okay? Meron talagang trend, no? Hindi siya, hindi siya scatter. Okay? May trend siya na isang way na pataas to the right, no? Because sinadya ko siya that is perfect correlation. Kapag perfect correlation, dapat yung answer natin is the highest or the maximum, which is 1, no? It could be either positive or negative. Okay? Ang assessment ko dito, it should be positive. It's because that kapag positive, kapag pataas yung isa, tataas din isang variable, correct? That is why it should be positive, no? Correlation tayo. You may check this using your manual method, class. This is for presentation that to prove that the linear regression equation is for forecasting, no? Correlation tayo. Equals, then correl. Okay, RA1, comma, RA2. Is it 1.0? Let us know, no? 1.0 siya. Okay. Ibig sabihin, this is perfect correlation. If you will get the square of the correlation, that correlation coefficient, it will give you 1 pa rin. Ibig sabihin, 100%. Ibig sabihin, if mag-i-increase yung ating x, okay, automatically you can, if mag-change pala yung y natin, okay, automatically you can associate that 100% dun sa x. Okay, so that's why it's called perfect correlation. So again, if mag-change yung y natin, in this case, 5 units, you can associate that directly dun sa x. Okay. Can you imagine kapag yung claim ng inyong teacher regarding this data is 100%, okay? Or R is equal to 1.0. So meron talaga siyang karapatan sabihin niya that ayaw magdulag dota. Kasi it will really affect your grado. Okay? Kasi strong yung relationship ng dalawa. Okay? 100% pa talaga, no? But ang ating data is around 0.87, negative 0.87. Ibig sabihin, mataas pa rin. Okay? So meron pa rin karapatan magsabi yung teacher yun that it will really affect your grado kapag naglaro kayo ng online games. Okay? Now, isa pa pala sa gusto kong ipakita sa iyo is that yung linear regression equation. I-click any points of this, add trend line, para maglabas dito yung linear regression equation. Okay? Yung linear regression equation is equal to y, a negative 5, then negative 5x. Okay? That's the equation. What if your value of x is 8? Okay. Sinabi ko nila the answer should be 35, no? What if the value here is 9? Can I ask somebody? What if 9? What should be the value of your... Yes, Shelo. What should be the value of your y here kapag given yung x? 40.
40 po, sir.
Okay, very good. Now, can I ask somebody, what if the value here is 100? what should be the value of y? Anybody can predict? Allen, Felicia, can you predict? If the value of x here is 100, can you predict? Biglang napaisip kayo, di ba? Magano pa ko, sir? Una-una pa ko, sir? 10, 45, 11, 50, 12. Abot na abot to 100. Tama ba? Now, this is, wow, 495. Let us check, no? Okay. This is the purpose of linear regression equation. No? This used for prediction. Let us prove. No? Sinabi ni Shelo, sinabi niyo kanina that 35, sinabi ko 35, okay? Let us use this formula. If your x is, ito na lang, no? If your x is 8, okay, just substitute here in the formula. Okay? Negative equals negative 5, then minus 5 times 8. Okay, that's given, no? It should give you 35. Mali. Mali natin dito, class. Ayun, nakalimutan ko mag-negative dito. Ayan. Should give you 35. Wait lang. Anong mali dito? Negative 5.
Naka-positive at ang 5x, sir.
Yun na nga. At least malaman natin there's something wrong here, which is, okay. Kala ko negative ito, class, oh. Okay, it's positive pala. Okay, namalikmata ako. It's positive, no? Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay na yan, negative, tapos, ayan, no? After that, okay, dapat 35, no? Bakit negative pa rin siya? Okay. Baliktad. Okay, ito negative dito, oh. Klaro ha, negative, tapos plus tayo ng 5x, ha? Okay, negative, then plus 5x. Baliktarin natin, commutative property of addition. Okay, so after that, okay, negative 5, tapos plus dito. Ayan, 35, okay? So if your x here is 9, just substitute, no? Negative 5, then plus 5 times 9, okay? Should give you 40, no? If x is equal to 100, negative 5, okay, plus 5 times 100, times 100, I mean, 495. So very good. Nakuha niya no, Shelo. Okay, so that's the answer, no? 495. Okay, so in short, for prediction talaga yung gamit ng ating linear regression equation. Kaya lang, okay, class, be careful. Dapat, you can also prove na may relationship yung dalawa. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kapag 100% ito, I think mataas ng point, yung point, answer natin 0.87 kanina, class, na mataas na ito ba? For example, one student, kumbaga, nag-play siya kada araw ng 5 hours, you can able to predict kung ano maging grado niya. Okay? So, can you imagine, class, if you will use this in other aspects, no? Sa economy, no? Example, yung mga traders, okay? Yung mga, di ba? Kung merong pattern, okay, yung pagtaas ng dollars, di ba yan man talaga yung forex trading, tama ba? Then, I'm sure mayaman ka na kaagad eh. If you will know two variables or more variables na nagkukos ng pagtaas o pababa ng value ng dollars. Kaya lang, walang ganun. Mahirap do you agree, class? Mahirap, kumbaga, sabihin kung ano yung causes ng pagtaas o pagbaba ng dollars. Do you agree with me? Kasi kapag na-locate mo, nalaman mo yun, you can play the forex eh. Okay? So, talagang yayaman kayo kaagad. Okay? So, kumbaga, you can predict tataas ba yung dollar, hindi o bababa. Kapag bababa yung dollar, huwag ka muna magbenta ng dollars. Okay? Hintayin mo naman magtaas yung value ng dollars sa mo ibenta. So, ganoon yung laro ng forex trading. Kaya lang, mahirap yung mahirap yung malaman yung kung ano yung causes ng pagtaas o pagbaba ng dollars. Okay? So, that's one of the application of linear regression equation sa correlation dun sa economy natin. Okay, time check 3:38. Okay? Do you have any question before we will stop the lecture? Stop recording.